Hello, my name is Kai, and I am a bit of a rambler. I like to travel, learn, and tell stories. And we're gonna ramble on. So, Indonesia. Very inexpensive overall, and it's very nice that you can have fee-free withdrawals from their end, but my dumb American bank charges like 10% on whatever I'm withdrawing here, and I think I'm finally tired of that. It took me a long time, and it doesn't really matter if I took it out, it would still be worth way, like the reduction in cost of living by living here completely takes care of it. But at this point, there are too many modern alternatives like Revolut and Chime that I don't have to pay withdrawal fees anymore. So I'm gonna get probably Revolut, so I don't have to keep paying withdrawal fees for no reason just because US banks are so far behind the times. Okay, what's interesting is that my credit card works in most stores here in Indonesia, but the people here don't understand, like they don't use credit cards here. It's very rare. So I've been the first person to use a credit card in their store in a lot of places, in a glasses store, in several supermarkets, in several convenience stores. They're just not really used here, but they have the machine. So I have been to a few places where I can buy like nori seaweed snacks and stuff that I like from larger supermarkets, and I've used my card. But I have to tell them it's a debit card because they're like, credit, we definitely don't know how to like use credit in the machine. And after I heard that like a few times, and I was like, wait, they have to be able to use the credit. I was just like, well, it's a debit card. And they're like, oh, debit, okay. And they put it in and it worked completely normally. So I was thinking maybe they're just saying that so that they don't have to pay the fee like that the credit card company charges whatever company. But this is a fee-free card anyway, so I don't know. So I've been using the credit card and just telling people it's a debit card, because then they just swipe it or insert it and it works right away. And that's been nice, because there are some pretty good supermarkets here, and I've been able to get all the stuff I want to get, like a little paper clip box, and I put up paper clips, and then I have a new sewing container, like a sewing compact, and then seaweed snacks, and just like snacks and stuff that I don't want to take out money for, because I'm paying over $8 flat, and I can only take out $70 because the currency is so devalued here, but everyone can afford everything, that the withdrawal rate, USD equivalent, is really low and unnecessary. I don't need too much more than that per month, the $75. But with my US bank, no matter how little I take out, they're charging me over $8, sometimes more, per transaction. And if it was a few dollars, I wouldn't even care. But it's close to $10 every transaction, even in countries that do not charge for withdrawal fees. So that can fluff right off. I'm just going to get a different financial service. There's just no reason for me to pay it at this point, when the solutions are so readily accessible and apparently work well. Okay, so if you come to Indonesia, which is a nice place to visit if you're not a huge drinker. I'm taking a break right now after Hawaii, so it's good sobering up, because the food here is great, the people are really nice, and it's so cheap. It's crazy how inexpensive things are here. Like cheaper than India and China cheap, often, which is cheap. And if you do need to use your credit card, which does work in many larger stores, even regular-sized supermarkets and grocery stores and all of the convenience stores, just say debit instead of credit, because everybody knows what a debit card is. But credit, they're like, that's a whole set of rules I don't know how to deal with. But if you say it's a debit, it'll just go through normally. And I went to Lottie's with the credit card because I wanted to get the beef, because they have sliced hot pot beef, and I'm trying to make beef jerky out of that. But you know what? It's been really difficult. I've been doing the same thing I have always done, which is mixing brown sugar with soy sauce until I like the mixture, and then marinating the meat and then drying it. And I have no idea what's different this time, but if the meat is not marinated, if it's just meat, then it's fine. Then it dries very quickly and normally. But after I marinate the meat, even for 1 hour, it is drying way slower. Like, I dried some beef jerky for 3 days and it never dried. It turned into like a fruit leather consistency, and I ended up just frying it up and putting it in with some food I made. But yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know if the red sugar or brown sugar is different here or what, but there's something. I kind of want to try just soy sauce next to see if it's the brown sugar that's somehow crystallizing and blocking moisture from exiting the meat. So the next phase of the beef jerky saga is I've rinsed off the meat after marinating it so that if there was something on the surface, it'll get out. But I put it out to dry, and it's definitely taking way longer still to dry than without marinating at all. Like, that happens within a day. You can get beef jerky pretty quickly from thin sliced beef after about a day. And these ones, it's almost been 18 hours and they're nowhere near what as far along as the unmarinated beef was. So it must be either the soy sauce or the brown sugar, and my bet is on the brown sugar. There's just something with this brown sugar that is like gummy, or it blocks moisture from leaving the meat. So I'll try soy sauce next, and then I'm also going to go try, Lottie has a $5 pack of sliced teriyaki, so it's already marinated in sauce. And I don't like teriyaki beef as much because it's usually a little sweet, but this is actual meat with just a teriyaki flavoring. And I want to try drying that also because the unmarinated beef I have dries super quick, like in a day, because it's sliced so thinly. So I'm going to try the teriyaki and see how that goes. Either way, even the unmarinated beef, I still have beef jerky to chew on, which is great. And instead of, God, what was it? When I was just in the States, beef jerky was $15 for 3 ounces, 2.5 ounces at worst, up to 8 ounces at best. And 8 ounces, half a pound, was for like crapo, Walmart stuff. And that's only it. So it doesn't taste good. I stopped eating it in the US. There's just I tried every single version of it. And there was one that was okay, but that was the $15 for 2.5 ounces, which is crazy. And the one I'm making here is as good as that. So 2.5 ounces for $15. And what I got is 20 ounces for $5. So the one I'm getting the one I'm making is 30 times cheaper than the best, that still wasn't super good, of the beef jerky I found in the United States these days. And all I have to do is put it on. I'm using the dish drying rack here with a couple paper clips to hold it to a fan that I have facing up from the ground. That's it. So clip that onto the top of the fan blows the air through, it dries the jerky. Takes less than 24 hours to make the jerky the same kind, and it's definitely better than the false whatever the heck Walmart is using as beef jerky these days. And I tried a whole bunch of local brands too, but they all don't taste like meat. They all taste like they taste like processed meat, sort of, or they're like super wet. There's like a wet jerky, which is just meat. I was confused by that. That's kind of what my fruit leather thing that I made is. I don't know what's going on with jerky, but in any case, I can make jerky for 3 cents on the dollar of American jerky, and I know it's coming from fresh meat and whatever spices or marinades I put on top. What was I talking about before I got sidetracked by jerky? Oh, the credit card thing. And then in that store, the reason I brought up the jerky isn't just because I love beef jerky, which I do, and I'm crazy about beef jerky. When I was in that store, the this little kid ran up to me and she was like, "Hi, my name is..." Oh, what was her name? Let's call her Alita Battle Angel because she was a badass. She was like, "Hi, my name is Alita." And I was like, "Oh, hey, nice to meet you. My name's Kai." And her face went slack-jawed and her eyes went super big. And she ran away back to her brother, who was they're like 20 feet away. And her brother's a little kid sitting in the shopping cart. And she ran back to her brother and she went, "I can speak English. I can speak English." And then she ran back to me and she was like, "Hi, my name is Alita." And I was like, "Hi, Alita, I'm Kai." And she ran back again. I came back again. And she was like, where are you from?" I was like, "Hawaii." "Huh? I'm from Hawaii." "What?" Oh, they're starting the calls to prayer. So if you hear it, that's what that loud chanting is in the background. And she was so excited. And we had like and her English was really good. Her accent was great. And she sounded like she was in control of the sentences she knew. And she asked me how old I was and how long I was in Indonesia. And yeah, just a few things. And she said like, "America," when I said Hawaii. And yeah, she was so happy to talk to me. And I mean, there are no other non-locals here. I saw two of them get off the plane with me, and they like stood at strict attention when they played the Indonesian song. So I don't know, those might be like government people because they were weird. They held themselves strangely. They were either cult members or they were like government liaisons of some kind. They had that spine, that straight spine look to them. And then there was me strolling off the plane through the immigration with my homemade sandals. That was awesome. The little kid was so excited to talk to me in the grocery store. And I've met a few people now who have been excited to speak English. Like one guy stopped on a motorbike just to talk to me, and his son was on the motorbike with him in front of him, and he was like, "Talk to this guy in English." But it's clear his dad was good at English and his kid was not great at English because his kid was like 2. It's fine. That's not the fault of the kid. And again, they're in a country where there's no like native speakers, but there's a lot of really good non-native speakers. A guy stopped me yesterday while I was walking home to talk, and he was just sitting in one of those like shaded pagodas they have around just in case it gets too hot or rainy. And we rapped for a bit. We just talked about what was going on. And right before that, I talked to him for like 5 minutes about just stuff, whatever, really chill. He told me there's a word for chilling and talking. Sunay? Shunay or Sunay? I can't. There was so much to learn here. So every day I'm learning new Indonesian and I'm studying it by myself when I'm not talking to people. But there's also so many non-native English speakers here who just remember their English from school. That's something that I think I can attribute to a dry country because there's not a lot of alcohol here. No one really drinks alcohol. And I cannot imagine that people who regularly drink beer, even recreationally a couple times a week, would remember their language lessons with such clarity. And people here recognize their English lessons with such clarity from when they were 6 or 10 years old or whatever. So before this guy resting in the like little shack who taught me the word shanane or whatever it was to mean talk story, down in further down the road, 1/2 kilometer, there was this little restaurant I got some food at. And it was like a house, but they had the kitchen was in the front. So it was like half house, half restaurant. And one of the ladies in there started talking to me. And I was like, oh, she's speaking English. And she spoke a lot of English and was really interested in talking to me and just asking questions about traveling. And she said she liked to travel, but her husband didn't. So they never went traveling. And when I told her I was thinking of going to Mongolia, she was like, "Oh, Mongolia are the prettiest girls in Asia." And she said like she went there before and she was just amazed at how pretty everyone was in Mongolia. And I was like, that's great news for me. Thank you. And yeah, and she was very nice, and we talked for a long time because I asked them for like one dish and one drink, and then it started pouring, so I stayed an extra few minutes until the rain wasn't going insane before taking my bundle of tasty food home and munching down. But after we talked for 10 minutes, I was just like, how is your English so good here? There's nobody else here. And she was like, yeah, there's no foreigners or boules here at all. I just remember it from school. And I was like, that is wild. Because she means like 10 years old school 30 years ago. No, 38 years ago. She told me she was 48. Like, that's incredibly impressive. So that was cool. I like talking to people. I'm talking to someone new every day. Everyone has some level of English, and they also speak Indonesian, and many of them speak Javanese because Java is the like island's language before Indonesian. But then they learn English in school. So there's a lot of highly intelligent, multilingual teetotalers here. And everyone's really chill too, and like optimistic because they're not brought down by barbiturates. I'm guessing it has some part to play in that, because everyone here is really happy and cool all the time and very nice. I got a hamburger and beef crunch wrap recently when I went to get my new glasses. I had to walk somewhere after I got them. I don't even know, whatever. But on the way back, I saw like a local hamburger stall, and I don't like hamburgers in the US. I don't really like hamburgers that much, except for that one in Portugal. That guy was great. But like local, in terms of like the wealth of a country, basically, poorer countries, they don't use like things of beef. They don't use pure ground meat to make their hamburgers. They mix it with like spices and maybe noodles or vegetables and egg. And then they have like this paste of vegetables and noodles and beef. It's not a lot. It's still mostly beef, but instead of like just beef, they also mix in vegetables and egg and stuff. So you get this, the patty is much crisper and generally thinner, and I think much tastier than a conventional just ground beef patty, which is boring and kind of chewy and not my thing, especially compared to these local ground beef mixtures that they use. And I didn't know if they made that here in Indonesia, and turns out they do. So I got a good hamburger that was fun for 60 cents. Yeah, 60 cents. And then a crunchy beef, or a beef crunch wrap. It's just a tortilla with really good beef inside. And this was just a strip of like marinated fried beef and some vegetables and too much sauce. So I won't get sauce if I go back there again. But those were both fun to get because I haven't had like one of the local beef mixture hamburgers in a long time. And it was very tasty. So I mentioned I got new glasses. That was on the day I got my new glasses. And so my new glasses, I've got two new glasses now, right? I got the one with the metal frame that were the first replacement in over 10 years since my Cambodia glasses that are great, but I've had them for 10 years. They have scratches on the lenses. It's time to move on. I have to accept that. And I have. So I bought lenses and I went to this place that made me nice new glasses looking, but they screwed up the curvature of the lens. So the top half of the lens was clear and the bottom half was very blurry, and it caused a lot of eye strain. And they were rated 5 out of 5 stars, 5.0 out of 5 stars, this place. So I was kind of bummed out that they screwed that up. But it turns out they also, I do have astigmatism and I didn't know, because I brought in my old glasses the second time because these new glasses after 10 years were covered under warranty. So if they were uncomfortable, they would replace it with a new pair. So I brought in these new glasses and my Cambodia glasses. I'll call the first new pair the metal glasses. So I brought in my old pair of the Cambodia glasses and my new pair of the metal glasses because they had a metal frame. And when the person looked at my old glasses under the microscope, it turns out I did have cylinders in the left eye, which means that I do have an astigmatism. And the metal glasses were just magnification. They didn't have cylinders or anywhere near the other prescription, to be perfectly honest. But I don't want a strong prescription anyway, because I'm afraid that if my prescription is too strong, it'll make my eyes like adjust to that strong magnification. And then when I don't use the glasses, my eyes will be very confused. So, but the main problem with these new glasses was that it was blurry. The curvature was incorrect. I could see it myself. When I tilted my head up, things were much less clear. And that was due to the lens themselves, not just my eyes. So I went back in and I explained it, and they took a new test, and they couldn't cover my astigmatism. I'd have to order a new thing. It would take a week, and I was worried that I didn't have a guarantee that these lenses would be made correctly. It's very cheap. It would still be less than $20 or maybe $20 to get new, nice glasses, and I'm here for another 2 weeks. So I do have enough time to get the glasses, but because they screwed up the actual production of the lenses the first time, I don't want to risk it and look forward to these new glasses and then have them. There's another place I didn't realize. So this place is 5.0 out of 5, and it has 60 reviews, which is pretty good. This other place is 5.0 out of 5, and they have over 500 reviews. So I'm thinking of going there and seeing what they say about my eyes. And while I have loved my Cambodia glasses, they are a much stronger prescription than after the metal glasses, I got plastic glasses. I got another frame, and I asked them to just give me a magnification of plus 0.75 in each eye for that original store. So my old Cambodia glasses, I'm not going to use those anymore. My new metal glasses, I'm not going to use those anymore, but they're covered under warranty. So I got these new plastic glasses, and I got to choose the frames, bring them in, and for free they made 2 new lenses that were produced correctly, and I can see through them at all angles or around the edges also. There's no blurriness the closer you get to the edges, which is a sign of poor lens manufacturing, which is what happened with the metal glasses. So I have these third pair, and they're not strong, but they magnify a little bit. And like glass stops a lot of radiation also, so I'm just going to use them with electronics so that radiation isn't pouring into my eyes, like the blue wavelengths and whatever. Because that was a big part of why I liked the Cambodia glasses. I would just put them on. There'd be like this little layer of protection against staring into electronic devices all day. Which I do because I'm recording a podcast or doing something digital. Yesterday I was editing a whole bunch of stuff on the computer for a long time. So it's nice to have this small wall of glass between my delicate pupils and eyes and the radiation. Okay, so I'm happy with these new ones. I might try to get a new pair of glasses. I still have enough time to go to that new place with 600 reviews that say your eyes are great. I might just go ask them and see what they think. Just go get a test today. Maybe I'll do that. Just go get a test and see what they say. Because if they do the lenses in-house, and I can get them in a few days, I would do that. I don't know if I want to wait 10 days and bank that their production will be great. Although 5 stars and 600 reviews, that's pretty good. But most people are getting magnification lenses. They're not doing astigmatism, but still 600 reviews. I don't know. I'll think about it. Whatever. So, I do have new glasses. I do like these ones now. They're super lightweight. They're very comfortable to wear. And if I take them off, my eyes don't go crazy. Like, oh my gosh, the magnification's gone. Because it's not too much of a magnification. And that leads into the newest thing about eye exercises. Actually, I'll just talk about that first. I have started doing eye exercises once a day. Only a few days now. But I don't know if this is placebo. I don't think it is. It really seems to have made a difference. And this is like 8 minutes a day. I just do 1 session per day. And it's things like closing your eyes tight for 5 seconds and then opening them back up, rapidly blinking for a minute, moving your eyes diagonally and rotating them around. And then an interesting one is trying to see an autostereogram. So you unfocus your eyes so that there's a 3D image in the in the picture that pops out at you. And I can't do that right now, and it seems very difficult for me to do on my phone. I don't know if that's it, or if my left eye has just gotten so crappy that I can't do it. It says if your eyes are really bad, you can't, but I know I used to be able to do them, and every now and then I would see one in life and I can do that. So I might try it on my computer and see if I can do a stereogram, because I can very easily unfocus my eyes and, put your fingers in front of your face so that there's a third finger in between your two fingers. Like, that's basically an autostereogram. So I like the exercise, though. They're very simple, but they do seem like they're actually exercising my eyes without any strain. And I personally just have found it easier to look at things and focus on them in the past few days. Like, the first day, I wasn't sure, but the next day when I woke up, my eyes were focusing better on smaller text. Because 2 days before that, I went to Lottie Grossier, the supermarket, and I was like blinking owlishly at tiny text on the drink cartons to try and check how much sugar there was. Like, my eyes were not working. And then with these eye exercises, like I said, 8 minutes a day, 6 minutes a day, very little. My eyes are focusing better. It's really interesting how much improvement I am perceiving. So I kind of want to do it, and then, that was my plan. I was going to do it for like a week or something, and then take an eye test and see if I got different results than the eye test I just took. I think I'm going to do that just as I go along, because all the eye tests are free in like every country except the US. So I think I will do an eye test every couple of weeks and just keep doing this eye exercise regimen, because so far it seems to be making a difference, and it would be great if I had healthy eyes. I just figured, well, there's probably some app now, and there's a whole bunch of eye exercise apps, and one of them I didn't like, and the second one I liked a lot because it was so simple and straightforward. And I like it more now because it seems to actually work, which is, very cool. So I'm doing eye exercises now, and they seem to be helping. All right, I had a junk food day because I went, again, to Lottie Grossier. And when I was walking around in there, I walked through one aisle, and it was the instant noodle aisle. And I was like, what? Because it was, who knows, 100 feet and 4 shelves, like 4 layers of different brands and flavors of instant noodles. It was so much. It's crazy. And I think I mentioned this here. When they make instant noodles, you boil it for 2.5, 3 minutes, and then you drain the water out after, and then add in the spices and oil and mix that up, which I think tastes way better, and you don't have soggy noodles after another minute, like 1 extra minute. So it's a great technique, and I'm enjoying the instant noodles a lot more. So because I liked trying that, I was like, whoa, what a good technique. I was like, I guess I'll try a few of these flavors and companies. And I got a bunch, and now I've been eating instant noodles every day, which I haven't done in 30, 20 years, a long time. But they taste so much better if they're not soggy, and there's definitely different types of noodles. So I know a couple of the brands and flavors that have the better noodles. It's the same brand, but for some reason with different flavor. Like the kimchi flavor has really crappy noodles, like really gross noodles. But the spicy chicken, the torikara, like specifically, has really good noodles. So that's been nice. But because I was like, well, let's buy a few different instant noodles and try this out, I was like, okay, well, that's terrible for you. So you might as well buy other crappy food. And I got like every candy bar that I hadn't tried yet in this country. Oh, there's Silver Queen, which is this really good chocolate here. And I was like, this is so good. I bet it's from Indonesia. And it is. It's an Indonesian chocolate. And it's much better than all the other chocolates they sell here. But it's very common. It's as commonly sold as a Hershey's bar in the US or something. But much better quality. So I really like Silver Queen candy, but I bought all of the different variations: fruit and berry yogurt, and milk chocolate with cashews, milk chocolate with almond, just everything. And since I got that, I also got like cookies. I got a bunch of nori seaweed. I got a whole bunch of crap. That's it. I just got like a whole bunch of crap. And I had to pack everything. And I only had my little day bag that wasn't quite big enough. So I had to use my hat upside down, holding the chin strap as a like basket handle. And I was able to fit a couple more pop mie instant noodles into that. And I shoved my pockets full, and then I was able to carry everything home. It was really funny. I was full up. And it was fun. I had just had a junk food day and ate a whole bunch of crap. But I'm not drinking any alcohol while I'm in Indonesia. I had one day that I drank some alcohol, and I was like, yep, tastes like beer, whatever. So I don't feel any compulsion to drink more. So I'm just drinking like super good, no sugar added, like fruit juices. And I can eat a bunch of stuff because I ain't drinking the alcohol. Feeling healthier every day, which is nice too. A lot of the quick food, though, is fried, which I usually don't like. I don't know if I'm just getting used to fried food more. I don't think that's it, because I was just in the US, and they still, when they fry things, it's soggy with oil. Like, the oil is sticking to whatever you eat and soaking the bottom of the plate. I do not like that. Never have. I don't know why it's different here, but and in Cusco it's the same. In pretty like so many places I go, the street foods, even if they fry foods, there's just not a lot of oil left over after they take the thing out of the oil. I don't know why American fried foods have so much like soggy, to the point they make the skin of chicken or onion rings or whatever you're cooking soggy again after they take it out. I'm pretty confused as to why, because that's the only country I noticed that in. If that happens in another country, it's certainly the exception. And if that happens in the US, it's the norm for me when I order fried food. But maybe it's because I don't order a lot of fried food in the States anymore. Anyway, the point here is that the fried chicken here is real good. And it's not breaded deep fried chicken. It's like a stick, like a drumstick, fried in a wok, so in a shallow layer, and they turn it over so that it's equally fried on all sides. And that's really good. So I got chewed chicken, ayam geprek, that I've been trying to get for a while, but I was at like 2 different places that offered ayam geprek, and then they didn't have ayam geprek, even though it was in big bold letters on their store. So I was like, oh, maybe it's difficult to make, or chicken's expensive, but it's not, as I know now. So I didn't know why none of the restaurants advertising had it. But I was walking by a place, and I just saw it, and I was like, you know what? I bet they do have it. It just looked clean, put together, and like they only had 5 menu items. So like they're probably gonna have their 5 menu items if they only have 5 menu items. So I sort of lingered outside the window waiting for someone to show up because the kitchen was empty, but it looked active, like lights were on, and I knew there were people inside. So I just waited around, and a lady eventually entered, and I was just using the time while I was waiting to learn what phrases I would have to say, like berapa harga, how much is this and this, because there was no prices, and do you have ayam geprek? Kuma punya ayam geprek? And she did have ayam geprek, so the chewed chicken, which I'm interested in because what a weird name for a dish, chewed chicken. And when I looked at the dish, like a lot of these menus and signs had pictures of ayam geprek, I was like, that just looks like, I don't know, like deep fried chicken fingers. So I didn't know what to expect. But I ordered it, and she asked like something in Indonesian I didn't understand. And I was like, I'm sorry, I don't understand at all. And I gave her and she looked embarrassed to be explaining it. And I was like, I really don't get it. So can you type it? Because I didn't know why she was like distressed by not being able to ask this question to me. And I was like, it's not important, just make whatever it is. And she was like, no. And she typed in my Indonesian English translator something, and it means chest. And I realized then she was vaguely gesturing toward her chest and then pointing to her thigh. So I was supposed to choose the chicken geprek. Did I want chicken breast or chicken thigh? And then I was like, oh, that's why she's embarrassed. I get it. Sorry. And this is a super conservative country too. So she was just like vaguely motioning toward the top of her body and then slapping her thigh. And she did that 3 times. And I was like, you have to type something. I have no idea what's happening. So she typed chest in Indonesian. I was like, oh, thigh, definitely thigh. So I got ayam geprek, and they fry the chicken. She fried it perfectly. It was delicious. No extra oil when she brought it out. And then they use the sambal plau, which is like the pestle in a mortar and pestle, or the mortar, whatever the smashy part is. Mortar and pestle. Yeah, I think the mortar is the smashy part. It's called a sambal plau, or a plow also. And she used the plow to smash the chicken ahead of time. So after it's fried and like cooked and ready to go, she smashes it in. And then she's made sambal, bawang, like the local hot sauce, and that gets mixed in to the smashed chicken. So it's mixed in it's really mixed into the chicken, this sambal they made, the spicy fresh chili sauce. And it was really good. And she gave it to me, and there was fresh rice and a little salad with it, and it was absolutely delicious. Cost like, I don't know, 70 cents, something like that. But it was great. I'm going to go back to her just because her cooking technique was so good, and her rice was really good, which is important. And I got a little salad, but she just fried it so good. I'm actually going to try the breast next time, because I don't like chicken breast. I think it's dry and boring and always overcooked. But the chickens here clearly don't have any hormones or anything. They're like skinny little things. And real chicken can taste good if someone makes real chicken well. And I think she makes chicken well. And these are all real chickens. So I'm going to give chicken breast a try and see how it is. Indonesian chicken breast. Okay, well, there's a bunch more to talk about because I went to the zoo recently, but that's like a long... I expect there's going to be a lot to talk about because I have so many memories of that rolling around in my mind, so I'll probably leave that for the next episode, next Ramble On. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Talk to me at bitofarambler@gmail.com or bitofarambler on Blue Sky and Lemmy. I'll talk back. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks for listening.